Hello everyone, this is Machzor Maven number 21, dedicated to the memory of Lucy Maya and Rina D. One of the three blessings that we add in the Rosh Hashanah Musaf is Zichronot, remembrances. And the question I have is a very simple one. How to remember Jewishly? Or, since Rosh Hashanah is actually the anniversary of the creation of the human being, maybe it's how to remember humanly. And I believe the answer lies in the various things that are in that Zichronot particular bracha. We of course say, God, you remember everything. We can't hide from you. You remember the sins. You remember the misfortunes. You also remember many, many things that maybe we forgot or want to forget. At the same time, God also says, as we say in one of the verses we quote, Haben yakir li Ephraim im yelet shashuim. This is my child that is so dear to me, the Jewish people. Zacharti lach chesed ne'urayech. I remembered when you were in your infancy as a nation, lechtecha charai b'midbar be'eretz lo zruah, following me through the desert for 40 years from place to place, in a place that didn't have any soil for you to plant any sort of roots, but rather just follow me. I believe Zichronot teaches us something about how to remember. We as human beings, we love to remember the misfortunes, the problems. If it's not a problem or a misfortune or someone that offended us, then we like to, of course, remember the sensational. You know, I got onto a flight at the very last minute, my foot was out the door and they were just closing the door and I got on it, I made it. Or I flew on Friday and it was that close to Shabbos and exactly 1 minute to candlelighting, I got through the door. Sometimes we forget how things do work out. Sometimes we forget how, you know what, there was nothing extraordinary. There actually wasn't anything that was out of the normal. And no one offended me, and no one said anything wrong to me. It was just right. And God basically says, I remember everything. I remember the sins, and I remember the misfortunes and the deficiencies. But I also remember the successes, and I also remember how you triumphant beyond belief in those years in the desert. The bottom line is, if we want to remember, let's have a full picture. Let's not just remember what we want to remember. Let's remember the entire event. Let's remember all the good, and yes, also the opposite of good. Let's remember the successes, and yes, also the opposite of successes. This way we're honest with God, but most importantly, we're honest with ourselves. How to remember Jewishly? Give a full picture of both.